Hey, what's up, Facebook? Good afternoon, everyone. Can you check if you can hear me right now? So, welcome sa ating daily live Facebook show. And today, we're going to have a special guest in our episode. Okay, so can you check kung nakikita nyo? Ayan, very good. Right, so good afternoon, Del. Good afternoon, Rupert. Magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. So, pupull up ko lang yung guest natin. So, our guest for today is none other than Mr. Arnold Palmares. Pero mamaya, I'll introduce him. Hey, so we're on episode 7 of our CCNA show, and today we're gonna have a live guest with Kuya Arnold, Sir Arnold, Mentor Arnold, and let me invite him right now. Okay, so yan, show in stream. All right, so can you check if you can hear, if you can see us both right now? Casey here, Benjo, good afternoon. Open CC here. Kuya Nold, can you check kung narinig mo ako ng okay?
Yes, Billy. Loud and
Right,
clear.
very good. How about you guys? Can you check kung naririnig niyo si Kuya Arnold as well as ako ng maayos and then nakikita niyo yung screen natin? Good afternoon. Yes, both. Thank you, Del. Right. So I guess we're good. So again, our special guest for today is none other than Mr. Arnold Palmares. He's the founder and he's the guy behind Internold. Nagtuturo din siya before ng CCNA and other networking related stuff. Pero his focus right now, I guess, is running their new venture family business. Okay, so we're gonna hear more about him on this interview. And then if you have questions about your IT career, about networking, about working abroad, we can have his answer live on this interview. Mao, good afternoon. John Paul Galliano and Nelson, good afternoon. So I think we're good now. Okay naman yung audio natin. Right. So, wait lang. Right. So, i-ready nyo yung mga tanong nyo and we're gonna ask Kuya Arnold later kung ano yung mga advice niya as well as yung masishare niya sa atin regarding dun sa mga questions nyo. Okay, so, before we kick off, wait lang. Right, so yan. So, Nelson Ritz, good afternoon. Orly, good afternoon. Dale, good afternoon. So, I think we're good. So, again, meet our special guest for today's episode ng the CCNA Show with Willie Ramirez. So, we have Kuya Arnold Palmares. He's one of my colleagues, a friend, and became one of my mentor din when it comes in the IT career. Okay, so kapag may mga questions ako na hindi ko, may mga tanong ako na hindi ko maintindihan in terms of advanced configuration o kaya naman in terms of moving ahead in the IT career, nagtatanong ako sa kanya. Na-meet ko siya online lang din, hindi pa kami nag-meet, I guess, in person. Ilang beses yung na-schedule pero hindi natuloy, tapos nagka-pandemic pa. Pero we've been chatting lately online. Okay, so parang close friends and family na rin. Right? So, pakikinggan natin yung journey niya and then we're gonna ask questions na makakatulong, I think na makakatulong sa inyo, sa atin, on how we can grow in this IT industry or networking industry in our IT career. Right, Kuya Nold? Narinig mo kami ng okay?
Yes, Billy.
All right, so thank you for joining us. Yeah, we know na busy ka, marami kang ginagawa, pero thank you dahil pinaunlakan mo yung invitasyon namin and we know, I'm confident, you can share a lot of inspiration and wisdom sa amin, sa mga IT nagsisimula pa lang in our country na gustong mag-grow yung IT nila. So, I mean, yung career nila. So, to kick off the show, can you, teka lang, pull up ko lang yung kodigo ko. Can you tell us more about yourself? So, from who is Arnold Palmares, kumbaga, as a regular person and as an IT? Okay? Can you give us more about your background right now?
Okay, yeah. Before that, thanks a lot, Billy, for inviting me dito. It's a privilege and honor actually na to be part ng ano mo ng. Uh, so I've just heard this is a daily show, huh? So very good.
Yep, daily, daily.
Okay. Wow. And of course, dun sa mga viewers mo so far, yeah, thanks a lot for having me here. I do hope na makapag-provide tayo ng values na pwede nilang i-take away. Okay, so as for your question, sabi mo, ano yung, who am I, no? Yeah, as you have mentioned, so I'm Arnold Palmares. Actually, my students call me PAL, P-A-L, kasi Palmares, no? And then, but my colleagues actually calls me Arnold. So you can either call me PAL or Arnold, it's okay. By profession, I'm a network engineer, a manager. But by degree, probably meron ka rin dito mga audience dito na electronics and communications engineer, no? So, yun ang ano natin, yun
Marami.
ang
DCE,
stream
oo.
natin. Most probably meron yan eh. Uh, I've been in the industry actually working industry or probably I'm an employee, I would say, for 20 years. Probably some of you have that career venture as well. Actually, nagsimula ako sa education industry. So half of that or almost half of that 20 years na journey natin sa industry is nasa education industry ako. I'm a professor before sa isang university sa Pampanga, Probably you know the name Holy Angel University. So nagtuturo tayo doon before sa College of Engineering. And then after that, we venture sa industry as they say so, no? So we become part of a multinational company for quite some time. And then along that time, we managed to found nga yung internal.com, which at this stage, medyo naglelo tayo ng konti, but for sure one of these days, i-venture natin ulit yan. And as you also mentioned, now we are venturing as a business owner and as an entrepreneur as well. So I hope that is enough of me. So yeah.
Yeah. So, right. So, probably yung iba sa inyo, lalo na yung mga members ng CCNA Philippines is already aware or familiar with Kuya Arnold because dun sa mga previous expert interview natin, we already have him as our
Mhm,
guest, as
mhm.
our expert interview guest, 'di ba? Pero this time around, it's sabi nga natin, it's a live interview wherein we can throw live questions galing sa inyo guys bukod dun sa mga niready ko na question. So ayun, thank you for sharing your personal side, Kuya Arnold. So it's quite what do you call this? Quite an adventure, ano? So from a professor and then working in the IT industry, kumbaga practitioner, and then
Mhm.
right now probably you're on the stage na venturing into business na siguro kasi almost gano'n naman siguro ang gustong mangyari ng lahat, 'di ba? So hindi naman wala namang sigurong na kahit nandun ka na sa edad na kumbaga retiring age ka na, nandun ka pa rin sa pukpukan sa operations ng IT. So wala naman sigurong gano'n, 'di ba? So we're thinking about the retirement and
Yeah.
kumbaga yeah, freedom in the future. Pero yeah, so that's inspire us. But
Mhm.
one of the questions that we have here is when you're about to start or when you're about kumbaga nung time na nagtuturo ka, nung time na
Mhm.
professor ka na dun sa university na pinagtuturuan mo, what makes you think na or what makes you decide to go into the IT industry as a practitioner, not a professor. For example, 'di ba? So you're teaching, alam naman natin na stable naman ang teaching sa university, 'di ba? So you can have your students, and then the school sila na yung bahalang kumuha ng mga students mo. So salary is stable, kaya
Mm.
lang what makes you decide na I want to go to practice this technology or I want to go into networking, for example? Ano yung parang nakapagbigay sa
Mm.
inyo ng inspiration or motivation to practice um, that, kumbaga, that passion, the technology itself?
Yeah, correct. Actually, I would say yung ano natin yung journey natin sa IT is, I would say, a blessing in disguise, no? Kasi nung nasa school tayo, I would not say the year, no, or probably I forgot the year already. Nung nasa ano tayo, nung nasa education industry tayo as a professor, actually nabigyan tayo nabigyan ako ng chance to be trained, no, sa Cisco Networking Academy program. I'm not sure kung yung audience mo merong idea sa CNAP, or probably
Okay.
that time they call it CNAP, no? Cisco Networking Academy program, because that time yung school, they actually intend to include yung Cisco Networking Academy program sa curriculum ng ECE, ng engineering, Electronics and Communications Engineering. And of course, that time, I'm the head of the department, actually ECE. So for me to be aware kung ano yung program na to, with my, I think, two or three instructors that time, we attended itong Cisco Networking Academy program. And then we found it na this is the future, I would say, no? Kasi makikita mo yung makikita mo yung technology, makikita mo yung market. O sabi ko, ito yung industry that I want to be part of, no? Kasi as an ECE, marami kang option. You can be in semicon, you can be in broadcasting, you can be in a lot of specializations, no? And one of them is IT somehow, no? So after namin mag-training nung CNAP as an instructor, so siyempre tuturo mo siya sa mga estudyante, di ba? And by that time, I've had a chance na maipasa din yung CCNA. And then you would realize, kasi makikita mo na you are learning something, pero you don't have enough application of it. Di ba? Makita mo kasi, of course, you can configure router switches and so on, but you don't have enough actual experience. Ang alam mo lang is theoretical. So for your question kung paano ako nag-start dito and how I intend na talagang i-venture my career as a network engineer, is nung nakita ko na hindi na mai-provide nung school mismo yung need ng technology na gusto kong malaman. So I've decided na I need to go out. Yun yung nag-trigger sa akin. So that is the journey, I mean, of course, the rest will be history, which is, if you ask later, of course, I'll be willing to share, kung ano yung naging experience natin sa industry. But on the education part of it, of course, you can teach the technology, but the actual application of it, di ba? Yun yung hinahanap mo eh. So, yun yung nag-push sa atin na kung hindi ko makukuha sa school to, I might as well go out. I mean, I love to teach, don't get me wrong. Pero kasi merong mga bagay na, di ba, as an instructor, may mga estudyante ka mas magaling pa sa'yo, di ba? Because they are
Totoo yan.
already probably doing that, di ba? They are already working and then they are just taking the degree. So, alam na nila actually. So that is one of my realization as well na kung ituturo ko to, I might as well know the in and out and then ituro ko siya ulit. Yun.
Wow, tama. So, probably tama yung sinabi nyo kanina na there are students na who are already in the field, for example, kaya lang gusto nilang mag-certify and they already know a lot on the operation size, kumbaga. And
Mm.
napakaganda rin nung shinare mo na nandun parang meron kang longing na tinatawag na you're teaching it pero gusto mo ring ma-experience yung talagang hands-on or talagang yung actual operations nung tinuturo mo. And yeah, so that makes us inspiring. So kung may mga, for example, may mga nanonood tayo dito na trainers or instructors na nagtuturo din sa universities, probably you're having that questions too in yourself right now. And siguro
Yeah.
you can follow Kuya Arnold's path na kung saan na-realize niya na ayun, gusto niyang talagang ma-experience, and bukod doon gusto niyang ma-enrich eh. Kasi siyempre iba yung tinuturo mo na inaaral mo lang from references, pero iba pa rin yung na-experience mo na talaga doing the
Mm.
actual work, di ba? So doon ka talagang
Yeah.
makakakuha ng experience plus wisdom na tinatawag. Right? So guys, kung may
Mm.
questions kayo about, for example, kay Kuya Arnold, and then if you have questions about network or IT career, you can post in the comment section below, and we'll show that on the screen, tapos sasagutin namin. Okay? So, another question, Kuya Arnold, would be, um, right now, probably you see your kumbaga nakita mo kung gaano kalaki yung pinagbago ng networking or ng landscape ng IT from before, from where you started, from what we have right
Mm.
now, di ba? So, in your opinion or from your thoughts, kumbaga, um, if a newbie or a beginner wants to learn networking, what's the best way to start?
Okay. I mean, of course, I can only comment on that based sa career natin ngayon or sa specialization natin, no, as a
Hmm.
network engineer manager. If you want to venture sa as a network engineer, of course, I would highly recommend. I mean, in order for you to be hired, kasi yun yung yun yung end result, 'di ba? There's no point na you'll be doing this one just a hobby, 'di ba? I mean, pwede rin naman. Yun nga lang, ang end goal natin is at least you can apply what you have learned in the industry, 'di ba? So sa ano kasi natin sa industry natin, sa network engineering industry, ah kasi ano siya vendor specific siya, 'di ba? I mean, you implement your solutions based dun sa specific na vendor na gagamitin mo to implement, di ba? So for example, kung Cisco 'yan or kung HP 'yan or some others, no? Kailangan malaman mo yung technology na 'yon. And lucky for us, ang pinakamalaki na vendor so far is yung Cisco, di ba? In terms of the scope and percentage ng clients nila. So you might as well start dun sa Cisco. I mean, learning yung ano nila, learning yung appliances nila, di ba? Yung technology nila. So the best advice that I can give you if you really intend no to venture or to become a network engineer is to pass your CCNA. Okay? Kasi it's a venture. Hindi kasi pwedeng aralin mo lang yung isang part niya and then you'll become or you'll be hired. Hindi. Kasi for example, for me, because I play the role of a network manager as well and I hire people. I mean, just to be frank with you guys, I'm not even actually looking at I mean, of course, I'm looking at the resume or the curriculum vitae. Pero I'm not looking at kung ano natapos nila sa school, kung anong degree nila. I mean, probably that would be the last option. Pero ang tinitingnan kong una, especially kung ano yung hina-hire ko, no? So for example, I want to hire a network engineer. Tinitingnan ko muna kung certified siya. I mean, that's the reality sa industry natin ngayon. Kapag hindi ka certified, even though you have the skills, even though you have the skill, kahit ikaw yung pinakamagaling na network engineer in the world, kung hindi ka certified,
Mm.
unfortunately, you'll not be, I mean, of course, you can do, di ba? But the reality sa ano natin ngayon, the reality sa industry natin, especially for those beginners, unfortunately, you cannot be hired as a network engineer kung wala kang certification. And the best entry point that you have is to become a CCNA. Tama, di ba? So,
Yun.
becoming a CCNA, hindi puwedeng mag-isa ka lang. I mean, probably if you have the discipline and attitude, pwede. Yun nga lang, it's a high-skilled technology kasi. So, the best advice that I can give you is look for a mentor, no, na mag-guide sa iyo along the way. Kasi kung wala kang mentor, ano ka lang eh, hit and miss ka, di ba? Trial and error ka eh. But if you have a mentor na mag-guide sa iyo, okay, ano yung susunod ko na gagawin, ano yung susunod ko na tatapusin, and so on, you'll be in the right path in no time, you know. And for you guys, I mean, just not really advertising CC Billy, you know. One of the people that I know that is very passionate, you know, sa ginagawa niya in terms of helping others and mentoring others is yung si Billy, no? Yung CCNA Philippines so far, I mean, at least knowing him for I think the last 2 3 years, I mean, nakita ko yung progress niya, yung passion niya to help you guys, you know, to become the network engineer that you want. So again, in summary, become or decide to pass your CCNA and look for a mentor. Okay, yun yung best advice that I can give you guys. And yeah, good
Right?
afternoon,
So,
kay Lester. Paula, I can read some of your chats here. Billy, it's good. You know, this is a very good software.
right? So, great. So, napakaganda nung sinabi ni Kuya Arnold. Una, from the perspective of an IT. Okay, for example, karamihan sa viewers, followers, and audience, kumbaga, ng CCNE PH is an aspiring network engineer na nandun pa lang sa stage na they're just deciding if, kumbaga, networking is for me or not. Should I go with CCNA? Should I go with this or that? Pero in the past episode, we already discussed kung bakit mo gugustuhin na maging CCNA if you want to become a network engineer. So I showed you some statistics, some data na katulad nga ng sinabi ni Kuya Arnold, di ba, na Cisco dominated the whole worldwide networking market. So they are the leader in routing and switching as well as in the enterprise network. So that's why yun yung pinaka-baseline kung bakit mo gugustuhin maging CCNA. Kasi yung mga enterprises, especially yung malalaking enterprises, 500 Fortune companies are looking for Cisco certified individuals. So ang pinaka-baseline mo is CCNA. Now, dun sa isang point na sinare ni Kuya Arnold, which is highly applicable for us right now kasi nga we need to accept the reality, kumbaga, na you need certification. Eh, kahit gaano pa kagaling, kahit gaano ka pa ka-technical, if you're not certified, probably you'll be on the list. Pero dadating at dadating yung time, mauungusan ka or mauunahan ka ng mga certified kahit hindi mo sila kasing galing. Kasi nga, yun na yung realidad ngayon eh, di ba? So kailangan mo ng certification. Una pa lang sa HR or sa recruit sa what do you call this? Headhunter screening process pa lang, if it requires certification at wala dun sa resume mo, mapapailaliman na yun. So alam ni Kuya Arnold yan kasi he's a network manager who already done hundreds of interviews or candidates, and then yun nga katulad ng sinabi niya, they preferred certified individuals given siyempre na alam mo, kaya mong improve yung certification mo. Kasi siyempre alam naman natin na may mga na-certified din na what do you call this, paper certified kung tawagin, pero they cannot prove. So you need to have both. Diba? You need to have the certification plus the knowledge and skills. So ayun, napakaganda ng sinabi niya. So pick up tayo ng questions dito. So may tanong si Paolo, Kuya Arnold. I'll show it on the screen. Sabi
Yeah,
niya,
I can see the question. Yeah.
question for Sir Arnold, Sir. What are the challenges you encountered? Teka lang. Hindi pala kasyang ipakita yung mahabang
During your
pangalan.
first
Ay,
job.
ang question niya, ano daw yung mga challenges you encountered during your first job in the IT field, especially in the networking?
Okay. Actually, very good question, Paulo. No? I mean, you can probably imagine, di ba? I came from a teaching profession, di ba? So I have a routine. No? Yung routine ko is, it depends kung ilan yung class na handled ko in one semester, di ba? For example, I have say 7 or 8 classes. So on each particular day, siyempre, takbo ka doon, another room, and so on, di ba? Another subject. You have different sets of students every time, di ba? Pero ang initial na challenge ko nung napunta ako sa industry, no. One of the big multinational company. Ang trabaho ko kasi initially noon is I actually started as a level 2 engineer, tech support. And yung challenge is hindi ko na-realize na pag pala nasa tech support ka, you don't move. No? I mean, when I say you don't move, nandun ka lang sa upuan mo na, nandun ka lang sa isang cubicle mo, and you are looking at your computer, you are talking to the client from your computer. So yun yung isang initial na challenge ko. Sabi ko, ganito ba talaga yung ano? But the thing is, because I'm in a position na I want to learn a lot. So I talk to a lot of the client concerns. I resolve a lot of the issues they have. Kasi meron tayong theoretical background, di ba? So alam natin. So kapag nasa industry ka, ang situations nila are actually very basic if you have the technical know-how, if you have the technical knowledge, di ba? So probably yung situation is just baga secondary lang siya. And of course, one of the challenges as well that I have last time, not actually on the technical on how to deal with the client, kasi as an instructor, probably I was given a chance, or I have probably the capability to guide probably last time students and now clients. So pareho lang naman. But some of the challenges I have is yung una, yung I still remember no November 2006 I was hired on this MNC company, and then nilagay nila ako on shifting schedule. Okay? Um, and hindi ako nasanay, I've been working for the last 10 years na regular business hour, and then kapag nag-shifting ka sa gabi, ang hirap. Ang hirap baga hindi ko makayanan yung schedule, nandun talaga yung hindi pwedeng hindi ka iidlip eh. But that is just part of the journey. That is just part of the journey. Ang importante is yung goal mo in mind, di ba? So nung pumasok ako sa industry, even though there are some challenges na alam ko hindi kamukha to ng teaching profession, I just want to learn the industry so that I can teach again later, di ba? So kapag nag-teach ako later, at least alam ko kung yung ituturo ko is somehow applicable na dun sa mga estudyanteng, mas magbe-benefit yung mga estudyante na tuturuan natin because of the learnings and sacrifices that you have. So guys, meaning this is not all about you actually. Kasi kapag para lang siya sa'yo, maano ka ma-exhaust ka, mapapagod ka, di ba? Kung ang ginagawa mo ngayon, yeah, we are earning something, di ba? To make a living. Pero if I can advise, you have something beyond that. So for me, because I want to share more later, so no matter ano man yung challenges na meron ako at that time, madali lang siyang it's just part of the journey that I have. Paulo, napahaba yung sagot, but I hope you find a value in that answer. No?
Of course. Yes, so thank you for answering that question ko. And also, kung may question pa kayo guys, i-post nyo lang and yeah, we will share Kuya Arnold answer as well as our mine. Okay, pero so I agree dun sa sinabi din ni Kuya Arnold kanina. One of the challenges if you're starting out is, for example, yung graveyard shift or weekend shift or overtime shift, isa yan sa mga challenges in working in the IT industries. Kasi hindi mo, unang-una, kapag ka nag-decide ka na mag-IT, dapat bukal na or tanggapin mo na sa loob mo na dadaan at dadaan yung time, you will work in graveyard, you will work on weekend, you will work overtime, you will work on holidays. Kasi kasama talaga yun sa part natin. Kasi yung infrastructure na sinusupport natin needs to run 24/7 by 365. So, ayun. So, normal na siguro sa buhay ng isang IT yung ganung challenge. So, kailangan ngayon pa lang i-ready nyo na yung sarili nyo. Pero over time naman, as you grow your career, di ba? So, may mga positions and then may mga company na rin na nag-offer na, for example, work from home and then weekday shift, etc. Pero as a starter, as a beginner, you have no options, kumbaga, or talagang dadanasin at dadanasin mo yun.
Correct, correct. So I mean, in addition to that, Billy, no, baga it's just because kapag nandun ka na kasi sa position mo na yon and nandun ka na sa company, that company for sure has a lot of opportunities for you. Nung pumasok ka sa company, that is just the beginning, So it's up to you actually kung i-explore mo yung other possibilities inside dun sa company. So nung ako sabi ko, okay, binigyan nila ako ng shifting schedule. Of course, you just need to comply, di ba? Pero sabi ko, hindi ako effective na magtrabaho in a shifting schedule kasi paggabi hindi ako masyadong makapag-isip ng yung deep thinking talaga, deep analysis hindi ko nagagawa sa gabi. So I've tried to look for a solution, di ba? Yun yung maganda. If you have a problem of if you have a realization, you just need to look for a solution for it, di ba? So ang ginawa ko noon, okay, sa team ko, ano yung pwede kong gawing solution? Sino ba yung kasi ayaw ko na shifting, di ba? So sino sa mga kasama ko dito sa team? Kasi napalaking team noon eh. Almost 1,000 people, di ba? So for sure, hindi naman yung 1,000 people na to are nag-shifting. So may mga nakilala ko na hindi sila nag-shift. Yun nga lang, different level sila, level 3. Ang tanong ko is, okay, now I'm on level 2.
Mm.
Paano ako makakapunta ng level 3? Ano yung skill sets na kailangan ko para makapunta ako ng level 3? And then you just need to work para makuha mo yung skill sets na dapat doon sa level 3, and then do your own thing. Sabihin mo yung boss mo, boss, I think I'm capable of doing L3 work now. Can you please give me a chance? And then you just need to prove yourself, of course.
Yes, yes, agree. So, totoo yun. So, yun nga, katulad ng nabanggit ni Kuya Nold, as you grow your career, maraming options na yung magiging available sa inyo. And then, ang pinaka paraan talaga is you work your way up. Kumbaga, para dumami yung opportunities, dumami yung options nyo, including na dun sa mga schedules and tasks na makukuha nyo. Okay, so we have question here from Zepoy. Okay, sabi niya, ano daw specs ng switches ang dapat gamitin para sa HD IP cameras ng networking? Kuya Nold, anong ma-advise mo dito?
Okay, I think as long as yung switch mo, I mean, this is a general question, no? Kasi ang HD sabihin natin 720p at saka 1080p, di ba? If your ports, for example, ng switches mo are 100 Mbps, and I doubt meron pang 100 Mbps nowadays, as long as it's above 100 Mbps yung bawat port niya dun sa switches, it should be capable. So what I'm saying is, minimum of 1 gig, kung HD talaga to 1 gig per port. I mean, there are a lot of considerations, of course, di ba, sa design. Not only yung
Specs.
HD cameras, di ba? So how big is yung network? Kung one or two lang yan, di ba? Or if it's hundreds or if it's thousands, for example. Or is it a local area network lang ba yan? Or magta-traverse ba yan sa wide area network? I mean, there are a lot of considerations. Pero I believe, Zepoy, yung question mo is most probably if IP cameras ito, I presume local lang local lang doon sa floor or doon sa building, or probably it's a Metro E. As long as connected sila via 1 gig minimum. So meaning meron tayong 10 Gbps na ng mga ports, di ba? So 1 Gbps minimum should be enough para dun sa mga switches mo. I mean, it depends on the application.
Yep. So, tama yung sinabi ko yan. And then just to add, so ang one consideration ngayon ng ginagamit ng mga CCTV engineer or technicians are switches should be PoE capable para hindi ka na mag-wiring ng electrical mo dun sa mga CCTV or IP cameras mo. So, isa rin yun sa mga kinukonsider lalo na ngayon.
Correct.
Para ang linya mo na lang is Ethernet or UTP cable papunta sa switch, and then si switch na yung nagpa-power up doon sa mga CCTV. Pero yung mga bagong model naman ngayon, so sabi nga ni Kuya Arnold, maraming consideration kasi unang-una budget. Kaya bang i-support? For example, you're choosing Cisco, kaya ba ng budget? Kasi mahal eh. So there are other, kumbaga, middle products or kumbaga yung mga regular brands na kaya ring mag-operates in the CCTV area pero hindi kasing mahal ng mga Cisco devices. So, ayun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we answered the
And
question.
kung
So, si Mao,
ano to, yeah, in addition as well, kung enterprise to, Zeppoy, most probably meron ng ano yan, meron ng existing na design yan
yun.
na you just need to comply, no? Pero kung ano lang to, kung small to medium na businesses, yeah, I mean, you can look for specs, na ano, na na pwede naman locally. Yeah.
Right, so Marky, Billy, John, Ernie, Charlie, magandang hapon, magandang tanghali sa inyo lahat. Thank you for tuning in. So, si Mau, Kuya Arnold has another question. Question po sa inyo. Ano po yung madalas na issues na encounter nyo sa networking? Ayan, so, Kuya Arnold, ikaw. Si Kuya Arnold, bukod sa network engineer siya before, or technical support na katulad ng senior niya kanina, he also became the network manager na nag-handle ng team. And we know,
Mm.
kung ikaw yung network manager, yung mga escalation ng mga high-level issues like SEB1, P1, sa kanila babagsak yun pagka talagang pukpo ka na, ika nga, dun sa bridge or dun sa conference bridges. So, in your experience, Arnold, ano yung mga pinaka, kumbaga, sabihin na natin, stressful or matitinding issues sa network na na-encounter nyo? Or yung madalas, kumbaga?
So I would assume no, yung audience mo, Billy, are all in the IT profession, di ba? And alam natin sa IT profession, I mean, of course, merong maraming specializations kasi dyan, di ba? Merong database, merong platform, and so on, di ba? Tapos yung network. If we have an issue, okay, pag hindi na-resolve yan, babagsak yan sa network for sure. Sabi nila, network issue yan kasi hindi ma-resolve. I mean, that's why ito yung advice ko sa inyo guys, if you really want to venture dito sa industry natin, I mean as a network engineer, you need to accept na kapag merong concern, merong issue yung infrastructure natin, may it be it is platform related or server related, may it be database related or not, kailangan nandun tayo to support. Kasi along the way, hindi kasi ang main issue kasi na nakita ko last time, pag sinabi nila, okay, napiping mo from source to destination, sabi na walang issue sa network. Ganun kasi pingable di ba?
Hmm.
Pero that is an attitude of scarcity mindset kumbaga. Kailangan even though alam natin na hindi siya issue sa side natin, and we can actually prove that is not an issue sa network side for example, we should always be there, no, to help and identify kung ano yung proper at tama na issue. Di ba? Kasi ang nangyayari, meron kasi tayong access end to end Di ba? You have access sa destination, you have access sa source, and you have access in between, di ba? Kung wide area network yan, and then you have access dun sa one infrastructure that's even better, di ba? Pero as a network engineer, meron tayong access from both sides and in between. So kaya it's wrong to say na even though hindi siya pingable or even though pingable siya, walang issue sa network, I mean, that is just a mindset na gusto kong i-share sa inyo prior to answering itong what is the ano yung madalas na issue no. So it's a mindset, di ba? Okay, ano yung madalas na issue? Okay, I presume na ang tinatanong mo dito is issue na related sa network side, hindi sa platform, hindi sa server side or what, Okay. Most of na-encounter namin, last time maybe kasi ang bulk ng experience ko is more on enterprise setup at saka data center setup. Okay? Yung mga issues na merong malaking impact, I would say probably yun yung tinatanong mo kasi maraming issues, no? It could be a port issue, it could be a device issue, pero yung merong impact, yun na lang yung i-share ko sa inyo. Yung merong impact talaga is probably as a network engineer or would be a network engineer, you have studied about spanning tree, di ba? Even though nowadays, with all the capabilities ng mga switches natin, medyo, or technologies available, medyo nare-resolve na natin yan. But before, having a broadcast issue that is caused by spanning tree, yun ang napakahirap na i-resolve, especially if you are working remotely. Okay? So from my experience, kasi wala akong experience hands-on. Okay, I mean, I want to be honest with you, but I can design, I can configure, I can turn up a whole data center without me going to the data center. Yun yung advantage ng ano natin. Yun yung advantage ng work natin. So if you are working remotely, for example, and then meron kang spanning tree, napakalaking ano nun, napakalaking issue nun sa ano mo, sa infrastructure. So most of them, pag hindi mo na-identify initially yon, damay lahat ng ano mo, ng infrastructure mo. But because of the capabilities and technical skills na meron ka, at one point kaya mo kaagad ano yan eh, kaya mo kaagad siya i-identify. Okay? So,
Right? Thank you for
hoping yon,
sharing.
no, na yung question medyo napahaba lang yung sagot.
No, no problem. So it's a helpful answer naman. Now, from experience naman on my side, Mau, one of tama yung sinabi ni Kuya Arnold na in every issues, default laging kasama yung network. It's either an application, platform. So kapag dun na sa conference bridges or dun sa mga tinatawag nating bridges, bridge call kumbaga, laging kasama ang network kasi lahat 'yon dadaan sa network eh. That's why lagi tayong kasama sa mga conference call or troubleshooting call kumbaga. Now from experience on the operation side, kasi ang most of my experience working as a senior network administrator from BPO or call center, ang pinakalagi naming na issues, ang pinakamahirap i-resolve is yung tinatawag nating intermittent na issue na okay naman yung iba, pero yung iba nakaka-experience ng issue. They are on the same network, same VLAN, kumbaga. Pero bakit yung iba may issue? So yun yung mahirap i-resolve. Pero yung mga tipong, for example, nag-down yung buong site dahil nag-down yung peering natin kay BGP, kay PLDT, for example, yung BGP peering natin kay PLDT kasi nagkaroon ng fiber optic break doon sa labas ng building, sa kalsada, natamaan ng MMDA, mga ganyan. And then,
Mm.
yun yung mga common issues na encounter namin before, bukod pa dun sa sinabi ni Kuya Arnold na STP issues or broadcast issues na encounter din namin yan. And then, ano pa ba? On the operation side, karamihan, yung mga, may nangyayari din na, for example, nag-implement kami ng changes ng weekend, hindi na test ng ayos after the change. Pagpatak ng Monday or ng weekdays, nagkakaroon ng issues kasi hindi siya fully tested. Nung bumagsak na yung operations, kumbaga nag-start na yung working hours, dumami na yung agents, for example, nagkaroon ng issues. So hindi namin, may mga nangyaring gano'n na hindi namin na-foresee na pwede palang, kumbaga magka-outage. Yung gano'n. Pero in terms of, nag-iisip ako eh, ano ba yung mga hindi nagpatulog sa amin
In
dati?
addition, Billy, ano? In addition, yung kasi hardware lang 'yan eh, 'di ba? Yung mga devices natin, no matter kung sino man yung vendor na
Yan, oo.
ginagamit natin.
Bumibigay yan.
Maraming hardware issues, 'di ba? That's why you as a network engineer, for example, minamanage mo yung mga network devices, no? You should have a very good system, a backup system in particular, na pag nag-down, for example, yung particular hardware na to, meron kang backup kaagad.
Yep, yep.
So that is very important kasi kung wala kang backup, Yeah, probably you have the pre-configuration no, yung default na pre-configuration nyo. Pero kapag kasi ni-restore mo yung service, hindi na natin kasi alam no, kung ano na yung ginawa or additional configurations na ginawa doon sa device. So dapat kapag merong outage na gano'n na halimbawa a particular floor wala lahat kasi kaya mong i-isolate ka agad 'yan eh. Kung halimbawa meron kang 10 floor sa isang corporate building for example and based from the design no. Yun pa yun dapat alamin mo yung pagkaka-design ng ano kasi tayo as a support engineer dinatnan na lang natin yung infrastructure, 'di ba? Hindi tayo nag-design. Pero kapag na-involve ka sa design, so much the better, di ba? Pero kapag inabutan mo na lang yung infrastructure, hindi ka baga hindi kayo nag-design on your first day of work, no? Yun dapat ang alamin mo ano yung infrastructure na sinusupport ko. If you can analyze it on a physical level or logical level, better. Kasi mas maintindihan mo kapag merong issue. Okay, eto ano to. Sa seventh floor ang issue nito. Ito ang issue nito is sa VLAN na to. Ibig sabihin dapat naintindihan mo yung infrastructure mismo. Okay? Kasi pag
Yun.
hindi, ano tayo, hit and miss tayo, di ba? Hmm.
Tama yun, tama. So, kumbaga tayo, minsan dadalhan natin na existing na yung network eh. Karamihan kasi ganun, existing na. Unless it's
Mm,
from scratch. O, nandun ka nung
correct.
sinimulan yung project. Pero karamihan or karamihan, pagdating natin, up na yung network or up na yung infrastructure. So, ang pinaka-the best is aralin natin yung environment kung ano yung isinusupport natin. Katulad ng sinabi ni Kuya Arnold. So, yung, for example, yung
Mm,
mga systems na ginagamit natin, network diagrams, helpful yan, as well as yung mga
mm,
existing standards and configuration policy na ina-apply dun sa mga devices, makakatulong yun. So
yeah.
hopefully, Maon, sagot natin yung tanong mo. So si Ren Zavala, almost the same lang din yun naman yung questions niya. Let's go with Mondi. Ano pong disadvantage at advantages ng isang network infra kung walang core switch or layer 3 switch? Firewall only, tapos layer 2 switch na. Ano pong pwedeng i-suggest din sa inyo para maganda yung network? So parang ang tanong niya, Kuya Nold, wala silang
Mm.
layer 3. Diretso na sa firewall. From firewall, diretso na sa access.
Oo, actually ang layer 3 nila yung firewall. Yun yung
Oh,
nasa
yun.
serve as
Doon na
layer
sila
3 kasi
nagra-route. So,
sa infra mo sa infra wala hindi pwedeng wala kang layer 3. Ano magra-route ng IP mo wala kang layer 3, di ba?
tama, tama.
So ang ano mo dito, ang baga pinaka-gateway mo yung firewall. It depends dun sa situation na sinosolve mo. Sa enterprise kasi hindi pwedeng ganito, no? Na yung firewall mo, yun yung L3 mo. Kasi yung firewall mo is ang main intention niya dapat is to serve as even though okay don't get me wrong meron naman mga firewall na they can really serve a very good purpose becoming L3. Okay? Pero it depends dun sa infrastructure na gusto mong i-design. Kasi kung ang infrastructure na gusto mong i-design is kailangan meron siyang, for example, it routes thousands, no? Of, or even probably hundreds of thousands of routes, no? Na manggagaling, for example, on your ISP na i-receive mo through BGP, even though merong mga firewall that can na merong malaking no malaking route table para i-accommodate lahat yung routes na yon, they are not specifically meant to do that even though they can, di ba? They can
Agree, agree.
pero the best infrastructure or design na magkaroon ka is you should have a dedicated distribution or core switch, di ba? Tapos yung firewall mo is ano mo lang, baga ang main purpose niya is just a firewall. Pero sabi ko nga, Mondi no? It depends dun sa dun sa application mo. Kung application mo is dalawang office lang, di ba? Or probably what? Merong isang headquarters tapos dalawang branch or tapos it depends on the number of ano din. It depends on the number of ang tawag dito, employees o dun sa resource na meron, di ba? Kung thousands of resource yan or even tens of thousands of employees, siyempre dapat meron kang dedicated na course, which then it depends pa kung ano yung mga application. Pero ang nakukuha ko dito sa question mo, Mondi, is probably this is just a simple infrastructure. Probably meron kang LAN, and then LAN on one location, and then an office on another location, tapos in-interconnect mo lang sila probably via VPN, I don't know, kaya firewall kaagad yung inano mo, ang L3 mo. So it depends, ano? It depends dun sa ano, it depends dun sa application. So meron kasi mga design principles. So guys, yun yung isang ano nyo, isang, even though probably you might be starting as a technical support, di ba? Talking probably to your ISP or to your client. Probably yun yung unang trabaho mo, di ba? But your next goal is to really understand the design of the infrastructure, and then for you to design as well for others later. Okay? Kasi walang specific na okay, sa small to medium ito yung solution. Sa enterprise ito yung solution. There are recommended, but you'll come to a certain point ng career mo na based sa number of people, based sa budget, based sa ganito, ito yung feasible na solution. Yeah.
Tama. So, i-add ko lang din dun sa shinare ni Kuya Arnold, which is really the real world expectation na kailangan nating i-expect kasi it really depends on the what do you call this? The nature of the business. For example, a BPO with multiple branches in different countries, spreads in different continents, hindi pwedeng, yun nga, katulad ng sinabi ni Kuya Arnold, na diretso na kagad na sa firewall yung layer 3 mo or yung routing mo kasi it receives hundreds and hundreds of routes. Tapos, if you have employees din na working from home katulad ngayon, kawawa naman
Mm.
yung firewall natin, bugbog na bugbog na. So, malamang sa malamang, magkakaproblema yun pag ganun. Uy, lakas ng ulan. Anyway, so thank you for your question, guys. Before we moved on dun sa iba niyong question, I have at least 2 questions remaining para kay Kuya Arnold para
Yeah.
tapos natin. Actually, isa na lang pala kasi we've already answered most of the questions I have. So ito, final question probably is, where do you see the future of IT, especially in the networking today? Kumbaga, ano yung mga skills na magiging in demand or probably ano yung mga dapat nating aralin pa or matutunan pa as we go in this networking or in this IT career field?
Okay. Okay, in general probably no, dun sa IT as a whole. Kasi ang dami ng technology na lumalabas ngayon, like IoT, Internet of Things, di ba? Artificial intelligence. Okay? Baga yung cloud technologies. So my advice to you guys is, of course, as a network engineer, yung yung best course na may prepare natin or best na gawin natin para ma-prepare natin yung sarili natin dun sa future na technologies as a network engineer is meron dito si I think nabasa ako sa comment kanina, si Kent, Kent Jongon. Okay, sabi niya dito, network process automation and programming. Actually, Kent, and to others, ito yung as a network engineer at this stage, if I really want to be on track, no, dun sa career natin, you need to move from the old CLI, if you understand me, command line interface, to really do programming, meaning DevNet na tayo ngayon. Yung dapat yung nagpe-prepare ka ngayon. Kasi lahat ng devices na nilalabas ng mga vendors natin so far, majority of them, if not all, are actually supported with automation. So kung hindi mo alam kung paano ka magko-code, medyo magiging challenging sa'yo later. Sabihin, Though yung CCNA naman natin ngayon, baga nilalagyan na rin nila ng ganun. Pero if you are already certified and you are on a position ngayon sa job mo na ang support nyo pa rin is using CLI, I would highly recommend that you learn about programming. Okay? Programming related sa networking. You want, I mean, of course, if you can do web development and so on, that is add-on. Pero more on process improvement kasi tayo, di ba? One of the best language that I can recommend, if you can study, of course, there are a lot. Marami, no? But one probably of the basic na pwede mong aralin is yung Python. And then using Python, for example, you can automate your task checking. Bawa, if you are pinging a lot of devices just to ensure na meron kang connectivity, or you are for example doing a mass backup of all your device configuration, for example, you can do that in Python. But of course there are advanced applications, pero I would repeat, my best advice for you guys is to go on DevNet, meaning not only as a network engineer but also a developer, also DevNet. There are a lot of resources online si Cisco about that. So if you want to be updated sa career nyo, I mean, learn about those. Okay? Kasi soon, when everything is moved, for example, to cloud, at least you are aware, di ba? Meron kang idea. Tapos later, yung configurations mo is baka hindi na dun sa actual na device. Kasi ngayon, ang kino-configure mo, I don't know, kino-configure mo is an actual switch, as in a hardware, no? Pero darating yung time na kung meron tayong VMware, di ba? For applications and platform, meron din tayong tinatawag na SDN, Software Defined Networking, no? Which is yun yung future ng ano natin, yun yung future ng specialization natin, no? But I mean, of course, these are things na pwede mong gawin on the side. For example, hindi naman kailangan sa ano nyo, sa current na trabaho nyo ngayon, ang gawin mo lang is on the side you are learning a bit, di ba? And it will open a lot of opportunities for you as well. Okay? Hindi kita marinig, Billy.
Sorry, nakamute pala ako. Ang lakas kasi ng ulan sa labas. Anyway, so idadagdag ko lang doon sa sinabi ni Kuya Arnold is the future is kumbaga going to software. Kumbaga the industry is moving to software lalo sa networking. Yun nga yung software-defined networking, Python. So that would be a great addition sa skills na meron tayo. Pero syempre, yung fundamentals hindi pa rin naman mawawala. Hindi pa rin may iba yon. So kumbaga, paano gumagana yung mga devices, etc., paano mag-configure, kumbaga, i-automate lang natin using the software. So, yun yung mga great addition. Now, may tanong dito si Lorenzo kung recommended daw ba na lahat ng um, kada switch. I would say depende sa environment, pero from experience, yes. Actually, for example, yung access mo pupuntang core, redundant. So, it's either via Ether channel para ma-expand yung capacity ng link as well as redundancy. So, I guess alam din ni Kuya Arnold na kapag ka sa
Mm,
mga sensitive type of networks, kailangan lagi may redundancy ka. Actually,
correct.
hindi lang sa switch. In all of your devices, including servers, etc., di ba?
Basta ang point dito is kailangan wala kang single point of failure,
Yun.
kasi
Single point of
nakadepende lahat sa iyo nakadepende kasi sa iyo lahat yung imaginin mo tayo sa network, isa lang tayo, di ba? Isa lang yung network natin eh. For server, for example, they can have hundreds of servers, di ba? Which is dadaan lahat 'yon sa infrastructure natin. Tama? For database, for example, for any platforms, no? For any users. Napakarami uses pero isa lang yung infrastructure, network infrastructure natin, yeah. So the key point dito is if you are designing an infrastructure dapat wala kang single point of failure, no? Yun ang dapat nasa mind mo eh. Pag ginawa ko ba to? Of course, there are a lot of considerations, di ba? Kung wala kang single point of failure, baka naman maging bloated naman yung budget, eh, no? Kaya
Yun, sa pa
there
yun.
is a balance dapat, di ba? There's a balance. So si ano eh, no? Hindi ko mabigkas yung pangalan mo. So, yung tinatamo na uplink on its switches, basta just ensure lang na pag nag-down for example yung isang link, kailangan meron ka pa. Or kapag nag-down yung isang switch for example, kailangan meron ka pa. Di ba? So,
Right?
just consider yung part na yun.
Okay, so thank you, Kuya Arnold. So, let's go with itong question ni Lester. Ano daw madalas pinapahandle sa mga baguhan? Okay, so siguro ako muna yung sasagot. From experience, as a service desk, when I enter into the networking industry, ang handle namin is monitoring. Eh, although we have access dun sa mga devices ng company, more on show commands lang. Okay, so hanggang dun lang. Hindi kami makakapunta ng global configuration mode. And then wala kaming magagawa na configuration. Usually show commands lang to verify the logs, to verify the alarms, and yun nga, yung monitoring lang, kumbaga. Yun lang yung karaniwang ginagawa namin. And then eventually, nung nalipat na ako sa network team, dun ko nagamit or dun kami nag-configure. Pero as sa low level position ng network team, ano pa rin eh, kumbaga low level task pa rin. Example, change ng VLAN, etc. Pero yung mga project ng yung that can affect the whole site, for example, yung mga senior pa yung gumagawa nun. So, nung naka-up na ako as a senior, dun ako na-involve sa malalaking projects and tasks. So, ayun. Kaya Nol, anong masishare mo dito?
Okay, kay Lester, you
Ikaw,
know.
ano yung
So, I
pinapahandle mo sa mga bagong hire mo, for example, na member ng team nyo?
oo, kasi it depends eh kung ano yung hinire ko, di ba? If I hire for example a level 1 engineer, siyempre yung task niya will be different from the one na hinire ko as a senior engineer, di ba? So totally different. Kaya yung sagot dito Lester is ano yung ano mo, ano yung capability mo. Ibig sabihin when you apply for example for a job, you know, ano yung capability mo kasi as a manager, for example ako hinire kita, you know, and I have specific kasi as a network engineer, baga yung task naman, baga hindi mo kasi pwedeng oh yung network engineer na to ang ipapagawa ko lang sa iyo is eto. On the same title na network engineer ang ipapagawa ko lang sa iyo. Hindi kasi ganoon. No? So it depends sa capability mo Lester, no? So for example, I presume if you pass CCNA, ibig sabihin you have a working idea, theoretical idea of how the CCNA concepts work, di ba? Or the technologies in CCNA works. Okay? Then pagdating mo sa job, of course you have orientation. This is how our day-to-day kind of task is done, you know? Of course, malalaman mo yon kasi it's just very basic, di ba? If there's issue, you need to support. Ganon, di ba? So, meaning when you are hired as a network engineer, dapat meron ka ng capabilities na pwedeng gawin, no? You can talk to people, you can talk to customers, you know how to troubleshoot, di ba? Kasi yun yung ano eh, yun yung dapat na alam mo na eh. For example, if merong connectivity issue, you need to identify or you need to have a systematic way, no, of resolving a connectivity issue. Do ang daming ano, 'di ba? Ang daming possibilities ng connectivity issue, but you should have a very systematic way of resolving it. And if you have undergone, for example, dun sa CCNA course natin, there are a lot of concepts on how to do troubleshooting. Yeah? So pagdating mo dun sa work, di ba? Okay, meron kang baon na ganito, di ba? Ito yung nasa tool belt mo na eh. Then comes an issue ngayon. Of course, there are honeymoon stage sabi nga nila, di ba? Sa kapag kaka-hire mo lang, di ba? Probably one week or 2 weeks or probably a month na you just observe, di ba? Then upon observing kung ano yung trabaho, then you slowly take up the pace, di ba? That's why Lester, yung sa question mo is it depends kung asang level ka na. If you are just starting, I presume CCNA level, no? So CCNA level, I would not say ang tawag dito, I would not say that is a level 1 skill, you know. I would say CCNA level is a level 2 skill. Okay? Ibig sabihin you can troubleshoot, okay? You can actually configure, no? Kasi ang level 1 support ano lang eh, parang service desk kamukha yung sinabi ni Billy eh, no? So, yun yung ano, yun yung i-consider mo. Be as proficient as you can, eh, no? Know the technologies. Hindi lang yung naipasa natin na meron tayong paper certification, sabi nga ni Billy, dapat if you are certified on something, you should know the technologies behind the certification that you have. And for me, for example, as a hiring manager to you, dun ko makikita. Kasi yung first month mo, titignan ko kung ano yung ano mo eh, ano yung capabilities mo eh, no? But don't ever show off eh, no? Kung meron ka mang, yun yung mali ng iba eh. I know na magaling sila, di ba? But the thing
They
is,
show
they
off.
intend they intend to show off yung skill nila without them even knowing yung current na infrastructure kung saan sila na-hire. Di ba? Kahit gaano ka pa kagaling, you are still day one dun sa infrastructure. Probably you can configure the whole infrastructure itself by your own, but still you are just day one. Yeah? So yung ano pa rin, doon pa rin pumapasok yung attitude, di ba? I mean, be of help sa iba, okay? Kasi nandun na sila eh. I mean, asking for example, bro, sis, how can I help? Di ba? Doon pumapasok kasi yung ano. So, just to answer specifically your question, Lester, wala kasing ganun na dapat ito lang yung handle mo, no? It depends on the capabilities that you have.
Thank you, Kuya Nold. So, I guess,
Napapahaba yung mga sagot
yun
mo
na
eh,
yung
no?
pinaka...
Pasensya na, Bibi.
No, no. Actually, yun talaga yung kailangan nila para talagang well-explained and kumbaga broaden yung perspective from a seasoned IT mentor. So, itong tanong ni Mau, which is related sa CCNA, no, wala na. Wala na yung CCDA natin kasi isa na lang yung CCNA now, yung CCNA 200-301. So, itong tanong ni Paulo, Kuya Nold, ano daw sa palagay mo as a previous or experienced instructor or professor, yung
Hmm.
mga magiging instructor ngayon sa mga university, dapat daw bang mag-hire ng mga CCNA certified? So, ako, for me, it really depends on the school. Kasi unang-una, um, kapag yung IT, katulad ni Kuya Nold, for example, dati, professor na siya, is, ano kasi, it's, what do you call this? A question of, can you offer better dun sa instructor or dun sa IT na maging instructor better than dun sa pwede niyang makuha outside the school. Kasi if a person is already technical and certified, I would say he will not go to a particular university or school as a full-time instructor. Kumbaga, part-time siguro pwede. Kasi most of the schools cannot provide yung salary na kayang ibigay ng mga enterprise as well as yung the technologies na kayang ibigay ng enterprise. Di ba? Quinold, how about you?
Correct. Tama, tama. Okay, let me just read through again dun sa question eh, no? And prior to that, actually, si Kent Jongon, eh, no? I think if you are Kenneth Jongon, I think I know Kenneth, no? Kasi sinabi niya dito, Laus Deo Semper. Ito kasi yung tagline ng Holy Angel. So I believe you are Kenneth Jongon. It's nice to meet you here, Kenneth, no? Siya
Ah, okay.
yung technician namin last time sa Holy Angel. So it's good. Okay, going back to Paulo, eh, no? Experienced instructor, can you give so to incoming instructor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, Paulo, ito yung ano, i-consider mo. Not all technical people can teach. Even though napakagaling nila on design, napakagaling nila on troubleshooting, They cannot teach. I mean, of course, they can share yung knowledge nila, but not on a classroom environment. Hindi lahat ng technical persons can do that. Okay? So ibig sabihin, sabi mo ba kailangan ba CCNA certified na sila pagka nagturo sila? Ah, hindi kasi natin pwedeng i-box na yun dapat ang requirement. Of course, if they are certified, that's very good, 'di ba? Kasi napagdaanan nila yung exam. Ah, ang isang key doon is can they actually teach yung technology sa klase, 'di ba? Probably hindi sila certified pero they know the topic very well. Of course, you need to verify yung part na yon, no? They probably have undergone a different training for instructors than just becoming a CCNA certified. But if they have undergone both, I mean academy instructor for example as well as certified sila, of course, 'di ba? Yun yung maganda. But one thing is, kamukha nung share ko sa inyo kanina, di ba? I can teach CCNA very well, but sa akin kasi is if I have an idea of how it is applied outside, mas magbe-benefit yung estudyante, di ba? So if you just want, for example, your students to pass CCNA, okay? Of course, dapat yung magtuturo sa kanila is CCNA certified. There are a lot of options, di ba? Kung gusto mo lang halimbawa na ma-appreciate ng estudyante yung in and out nung network engineering na industry on a starting or beginner level, I mean, not necessarily naman na CCNA certified siya basta alam niya kung paano ituro yung subject. Okay? But the best approach is kailangan yung technical person na yon, certified man siya o hindi, kailangan marunong siya magturo and na-appreciate siya ng estudyante. Kasi ang hirap ituro ng CCNA, sabihin ko sa inyo. Mahirap. Okay?
Thank you, Kuya Nold. So, here's another question from Haja or Hacha, yes. Ano duma-advise natin for learning DevNet? Well, since for me, DevNet is just a new specialization when it comes to certification. Um, I guess ang focus niya is more on automation, like for example, Python
Mm.
and yun, yung software-defined networking. So, limited pa yung mga resources for now, pero sa websites ni Cisco, yung mga official forums at saka official articles, may mga books din, that would be helpful. Okay? Kasi isa pa rin yan sa mga kailangan nating additional or great addition sa skills natin as a network engineer, yung dev side, kumbaga.
There is actually a resource online si Cisco, Actually, pwede kang mag-ano sa kanya eh. Pwede kang mag-create ng sandbox mo, Or actually,
Yeah,
meron
sa
na silang
sandbox.
sandboxes. Just search Cisco DevNet and then pwede kang mag-register doon if you have not done so. Na pwede mo nang gamit. May mga course nga sila doon, no? May mga course sila na halimbawa how to do IoT, how to do yung mga technologies na involved doon sa DevNet. Mag-register ka lang tapos you just follow yung mga courses nila. Halos free nga yun eh. You can imagine, si Cisco, they set up their own sandbox tapos or platform na papagpraktisan natin, Tapos pinapahiram nila sa atin for free. So, i-take advantage niya.
Okay, thank you. So we have MJ here. I guess we're gonna go with at least last two questions kasi I know dapat yung show natin, katulad na sinabi kay Kuya Arnold, 30 to 45 minutes or maximum of 1 hour. Pero we're running at 82 minutes right now kasi we're trying to answer all of your questions and maswerte tayo dahil pinagbibigyan pa tayo ni Kuya Arnold. Okay, so si MJ sabi niya, if the system is down or let's say become unavailable due to technical reasons, does our system has something like recovery feature and how long it will take? I would say yes. Katulad nga ng pinag-usapan natin kanina sa redundancy, di ba? So, halos lahat, actually, lalo na yung mga BPOs and critical networks, data centers, they have recovery setup. Like redundancy is a recovery type of recovery, di ba? Para pag nag-fail yung isa, we have something na magfa-fail over dun sa kabila. Now, in terms of um, other systems like ano ba? Meron din eh. Laging meron naka-ready na backup in terms of failure. Kahit yung mismong business kasi may sariling department or may sariling employee or mga tao na nag-handle ng BCP or yung business continuity processes and programs ng isang company. So yun yung mga involved doon. Kung gaano katagal, depende. Sa amin, for example, may nag-down na sa amin dati sa BPO, nag-down yung edge mo, which is your primary edge, within 3 seconds or automatically lilipat sa dun sa kabila without doing anything. Kasi as a BPO, critical yung connections nyo sa network. So that's why it's automatically happening kapag kami nangyayaring failure or down.
Mm.
So I would assume ganun din sa ibang systems or ibang platform para kay MJ.
Okay. So yung system is down, probably mag-assume na lang ako, MJ, yung question mo siguro is pag sinabing system is down, probably kasi iba-ibang level 'yon, no? Kasi ako yung supported ko enterprise, no? And then banking. So sa banking for example, kung ang naka-down na system is halimbawa yung branch lang na meron lang say 5 people, di ba? I mean, meron kasing mga tinatawag nilang service level agreement or SLAs, di ba? Kung gaano mo katagal. Kung halimbawa naman, ang nag-down is yung infrastructure, yung one infrastructure mo, di ba? Or ang nag-down is yung data center mismo, di ba? So yeah, you can imagine kung ano yung level of stress. Siguro yun na lang yung ano natin. Kung isang ATM lang for example yung nag-down, yung connectivity niya, and ilan lang naman yung nakapila. Probably meron pa ring stress, di ba? Pero kung halimbawa yung ATM is located sa isang island tapos wala naman masyadong nagwi-withdraw. Pero kung halimbawa nag-down is buong branch, di ba? Or buong corporate office ang nag-down, di ba? Ibang-ibang level yung skills niya. So yung restoration of course depende dun sa agreed, no? Halimbawa, nung nasa isang multinational company, no? Ang trabaho kasi noon is we are this multinational level na company tapos meron kaming mga client na MNC din, di ba? So nung nag-agree itong dalawang MNC companies na to, okay, for say a priority one or severity one case, ang resolution mo is dapat 4 hours. Dapat mag-comply ka doon. Kung hindi, kung saan ako nagtatrabaho na MNC, magbabayad siya doon sa customer, di ba? O, kung halimbawa naman, ang service level agreement for say a bronze site, iba-iba kasi. Halimbawa, bronze site which is walang redundancy, no? Kasi ilan lang naman yung nandun. Kaya ito guys, ibig sabihin, nagbibigay ako ng example kasi not necessarily naman, even though sabi ko nga, there should not be a single point of failure. Ang sinasabi ko doon is, yung tipong, halimbawa, ano ka, bangko ka, or you are in a bank industry, yung tipong dahil sa nag-down yung system mo, buong branches, buong corporate, walang operation. Hindi, yun yung single point of failure, di ba? Kung halimbawa naman yung ano mo lang is yung branch is few people lang naman yung nandun and then hindi naman ganun ka-critical yung site, di ba? So kahit wala ka ng redundancy. I mean, I know it contradict dun sa sinabi kong una, no? That's why kapag nandun ka sa design and then meron kang budget consideration, you look at the whole perspective itself, not just dun sa design concept na meron ka. Okay? So I'm not sure MJ kung nasagot yung kasi very very high level yung mo, yung question mo. So I hope na nasagot namin somehow yung question.
Yep. So hopefully MJ, and then i-add ko lang din siguro, nabanggit ni Kuya Arnold kanina, usually nga yung mga, lalo na yung mga shared services or service providers natin na tinatawag, may mga SLA sila eh. So service level agreement, ibig sabihin in what possible duration na allowed yung ganitong downtime na hindi magbabayad, for example yung provider ng service or ng yung company dun sa client niya. Kasi for example, sa amin dati, as a call center, as a BPO, kumbaga, may mga client kami, for example, AT&T, merong SLA na kapag yung mga agent or yung tools nila are down because of a network issue, within 5-10 minutes, may mga, dun sa service level agreement, may mga katumbas na namulta yun. Di ba? Or fine from our company dun sa AT&T. Kasi, yun yung nandun sa service level of agreement. It's like a contract na kailangan yung masunod kasi yun yung pinag-agrihan nyo before they chose you as a provider or as a bago nyo sila maging kliyente. So, ganun. So, it's mostly on paper naman, lalo na when you work on the enterprise. So, I guess, that can be our last question for today. I know probably may mga maiisip pa kayo after this episode or after this interview, pero gustuhin man natin, hindi natin pwedeng hawakan or pigilan si Kuya Arnold dahil meron pa siyang ibang mga bagay na pwedeng gawin. I mean, kailangan gawin kasi sabi nga natin, busy rin siyang tao eh. So, ang gagawin natin, if you have questions, if you have clarifications, or if you have requests or anything, you can send us. You can send it to CCNA Philippines, or even you can add Kuya Arnold in your Facebook kung okay lang sa kanya. And then, or you can relay it to me para may i-relay ko sa kanya yung mga questions nyo. Pero for now, I guess, by closing to 90 minutes right now, we answer most of your questions. And sana kahit papano, nakakuha kayo or nakapulot kayo ng mga practical advice and useful information or tips na magagamit nyo in your CCNA career and then your IT journey as a whole. Okay, so Kuya Arnold, maraming salamat sa oras mo. Again, on behalf
Yes.
of CCNA PH and the whole community ng mga aspiring network engineer and community ng CCNA PH, maraming salamat sa oras. So
Yeah, most welcome.
before we end
Yeah,
or
maraming
before we
salamat
go,
din sa
kumbaga, yeah, so do you have any kumbaga um, products or services or anything you want to share?
Not necessarily, Billy. Siguro advice na lang sa mga advice na lang sa community mo that if you really intend to go to this field, yun lang yung baga ulitin ko lang yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina. 'Di ba? Sabi nga natin, sa field kasi natin as a network engineer, tayo yung tayo yung default gateway. Tayo yung bagsakan
Default
ng
gateway.
Oo. Tayo yung bagsakan nung kapag hindi nare-resolve yung issue, tayo yun eh. And we should have the attitude and mindset na tanggapin yon. Kasi if not, parang you degrade your being a network engineer, Kasi dapat nandun tayo to resolve issues, di ba? And sabi ko nga, because we have end-to-end access, dapat tanggapin natin yon. It could be probably challenging sa atin as a network engineer, but that's the reality na meron tayo, Pero sa nakita ko nga I mean, in my experience sa industry, hindi lahat kasi ginagawa yon, But I believe you or me talking to you right now, at least I can give that advice, Accept the kasi mas lalo kang ma-recognize sa work mo if you have that that mindset. Okay? So, yun,
Right?
hoping na meron kayong na-take away sa session na to. Sabi nga ni Billy, medyo
Sure.
pasensya na sa mga
Napakadami.
mahabang sagot.
Anyway, yes. So, kahit ako na probably have a few years of experience in the networking operations, I still learned a lot. Kahit na-interview na kita dati and then kahit lagi kita nakaka-chat, I still learned a lot on this one. So, hopefully, ganun din kayo guys. And then sabi ko nga, if you have follow-up questions, you can send it to me or Kuya Arnold and then sasagutin natin yan. Okay? So, I guess that concludes our show or episode for today. Again, maraming salamat Kuya Arnold and hopefully we can have you again in the future even for our physical meetup.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
So again, maraming salamat.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
So
Bye.
again, thank you, Arnold. So thank you guys for tuning in our episode 7. I guess we can now end this